Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Omni-Knight. Keeper of the Light.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Shadow Demon.
Dire team ban.
Oh.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Wow, I say welcome back. I was just casting the summit. I realize this is the first game of Dota Pit. So, welcome, everyone. Dota Pit, Team Empire versus Vega Squadron should be a very fun CIS matchup. As, well, really, they always are. Apparently, Empire just off a fresh win against OG in the best of one Face It. I guess that just happened, so, hey, apparently a little bit rolled off of a hot streak now into the matchup against Vega Squadron, which is going to be a little bit of a tougher one. Vega Squadron haven't had been terrible results lately, but they also hadn't had the greatest results, as they unfortunately did not make it into the Summit qualifier, losing out to, I believe it was Friends. They didn't even make it into the actual close part of the qualifier. Couldn't even make it there. So, unfortunately, they dropped there, but maybe Dota Pit is the tournament where they are going to shine. Vega Squadron also fresh off of a win, a best of one, against Ad Finum in the Face It League as well. Ad Finum had been showing a considerable amount of strength. I believe right now they're going to be facing up against Team Liquid in the Summit qualifiers. But yeah, going into this test, let's see, Team Empire, Omni-Knight, and Keeper of the Light. This is apparently going to be some CIS flavor for us. Something that Friends was running quite a bit, and Team Empire are apparently going to be doing a bit of the same. Meanwhile, Vega Squadron start off with a Wisp and Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon obviously being one of the better counters to Omni-Knight in the pool, but both Friends and it seems like now Team Empire don't really seem to care too much if the Shadow Demon's there for the Purge to take off the Repel. They still feel the Omni-Knight is a first pick sort of hero. We'll see whether or not the Omni Knight is actually run as a support, as Friends was able to do in their best of 3, or if there's potential offlane pick for Team Empire if they like to be able to turn that around. Of course, they go ahead and pick up the Sand King and say, no, 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 no. It's definitely Omni Knight support. Sand King most likely going to be our offlaner now. And now we turn towards Vega Squadron. Some of our bans, Juggernaut, as well as the Faceless Void, some of the better Diffusal Blade carries out there in the pool. Juggernaut is pretty much the go-to ban when you pick up Omni Knight. You always want to make sure, because he's probably the best Diffusal Blade carry out there. It is quite strong versus some of the heroes that are currently in the meta. Meanwhile, Faceless Void, you know, sometimes offlane, if it's in a safe lane carry situation, though, he's able to get a reliable Diffusal Blade pickup, and it would give the team fight element that Vega Squadron is kind of lacking right now with their 1-2. They're also lacking a bit of Disable with just their Wisp and Shadow Demon. They've got the Disruption for a TP stop or a channel stop on the Sand King, and they've got Purge, but other than that, no real hard, reliable stuns we normally look for. They're probably going to be coming out from our cores. Let's see. I always gotta put in I gotta Google the hero pool, just because it's very difficult to be able to actually figure out those heroes in my mind. What offlaners left? Well, apparently Team Empire have recently run a Legion Commander, which I did not know was that much of a hero, but apparently somebody's running it. Mirana. Ooh, man. Mirana, third pick. What happened? What happened, CIS Dota? How did Mirana become so low priority? You see plenty of teams would gladly take a first pick Mirana with the kind of variations you're able to do, whether it's a mid Mirana or it's a support Mirana paired up with something. There are many opportunities for Mirana to be a nice open pickup in the draft pool, and it doesn't usually lose out heavily on whatever mid matchup it's facing, so it's usually going to be good to go. Vega Squadron, meanwhile, they ban away both the Ursa and the Alchemist. Big physical damage healers. I guess, like, oftentimes the Alchemist is going to be kind of one of those 3-4 bans, just because the Alch, I feel like he's kind of a bit of a game changer. He changes the nature of the game and how it's going to work, so it seems like that's what CIS Dota is going to be doing a lot of, and we've seen outside of CIS do that as well. Alchemist, it seems to be too big of a game changer for a fourth pick for a team to pick up. Earlier, like a few weeks ago, you would see mostly Alchemist would be a fifth pick ban, but he seems to have been upgraded a little bit. Team Empire will get themselves the Slark. Nice late game carry, able to lock down the Mirana. Will be able to take advantage of the lack of disables currently on Vega Squadron. They don't have any AoE hold until they picked up the Axe, which is going to be a suitable answer, I think, to the Slark, because not only is it just an Axe, it's an Axe plus a Wisp. As a potential dual offlane. If they want to be able to run that, they can actually run Wisp Axe as a dual offlane and be able to put pressure on the Slark nice and early. So now you don't just have the Axe able to be a mid-game threat to the Slark and being able to jump in and lock down the Slark through his AoE and be able to catch him, whether it's Dark Pact or whether it's Shadow Dance. Either way, that nice hard disable of the call is going to be able to cut through all of that. And Vega Squadron, hey, Team Empire banned away the Anti-Mage, don't have to fear that one, so they go ahead and get themselves a fifth pick Morphling. Obviously, there wasn't really any space for Team Empire to pick up a big Morphling counter like the Anti-Mage with the Slark already in their hands. Vega Squadron, they just made sure that the snowballing mid of the Storm Spirit wasn't a problem. He's probably one of the better heroes to be able to deal with the Morphling. If you pick up the Orchid fast enough, you can actually threaten the Morphling kind of no matter what. You can, even once he has Lincolns, you can go ahead, try and lock him down with your Disable, pop the Lincolns, then use the Orchid to actually keep the Morphling in place. So instead, they're going to go for the Timbersaw as our last pick. Our mid for Team Empire. Timbersaw, one of the big things about Mirana, and maybe one of the reasons that she is falling a bit in priority, is that it seems like some of the mids, many of the melee mids, take advantage of this hero pretty well. So one of the biggest things is that the Mirana's a little bit lacking in base damage. You're playing against a melee hero. Most of these, say, the Poor Man's Shield Juggernaut, Poor Man's Shield Faceless Void. In this case, just regular old Stout Shield Timbersaw are able to take pretty good advantage of the Mirana's lack of base damage, and Timbersaw obviously will just play off of his reactive armor, keeping himself pretty healthy and able to get a good amount of farm. So this is a matchup that G should be able to enjoy the farm he's able to take from the lane, but the question is he able actually to stop Vega Squadron's Morphling from getting too far out of control? Now, they do have some suitable answers, right? They've got Repel able to throw down, so you don't have to worry at least about one hero being shotgunned to death. They have nice late game power in the Slark as well as the Timbersaw. Vega Squadron, so much of their game is going to be reliant on the Axe. They want Mirana to be able to do well mid, should be fine facing up against Timbersaw, shouldn't really have any kill potential there, unless he gets ganked up by the Slark. That's going to be his biggest fear once Shadowblade is up. That's really when the Mirana could be potentially shut down a bit. Depending on the timing of the Shadowblade, maybe even comes before the Mirana Aghanims, though doubtful. And he can keep that Aghanims down for as long as possible. But I think more of this game comes down to the Axe, and whether or not, if they're going to be running a dual lane with the Wisp as well as the Axe, and they're going to be trying to put pressure on the Slark with a Omni Knight and Keeper of the Light to back him up, I don't know, that feels pretty good to me. That feels like a good lane where Axe, with the extra regen available to him from the Wisp, is able to put a lot of pressure on that Slark, on the supports, keep them down as best as possible, and get themselves a nice quick Blink Dagger to, again, keep the Slark down going into the mid game. If you get a Blade Mail fast enough, then you start actually having a little bit better power against the Timbersaw. Obviously, for most of the game, Timbersaw is going to be a bit of a bane of existence for the Axe. But if you can at least snowball forward and get yourself a Blade Mail on the Axe, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable manning up, initiating on him, locking him down, and being able to get some damage return out from the Blade Mail when he inevitably Timber Chains and chakrams and does whatever he does afterwards. Now, CIS Dota, really the flavor of Dota through most of Europe right now. Gonna be smoking up and TPing out to lanes. Always trying to get that vision advantage. So you're gonna see from the Poshka, TPs out to mid, smokes, runs through bottom. Gets a nice aggressive ward out here, able to get some good vision, and then this counter ward is gonna be blocking away on the far left-hand corner there, blocking away this pull camp. So, all gone. Not able to be used. Meanwhile, on the Radiant side of things, they actually get themselves a defensive ward out here. Looks like already a laning ward being placed out by the Dire Sign as well. That has been a significant change over the years, that we do not really put a whole lot of priority on our river wards. Not so much. Seems like most of the time we much prefer to be able to have laning wards and use supports to rotate into the runes at the necessary timings, rather than just trying to have vision over the river. Some adaptations that have come through, whether it's through the smoke through lanes situations that have happened a lot, or through the general rotations that have avoided the river, or even just the fact that our supports, I think, are a little bit more free than they used to be to cover the runes for that mid lane matchup. Speaking of our mid lane matchup, maybe it's going to be a bit different than I don't know what's Vega Squadron doing here. Looks like they're going to try and battle it out at the top rune, with Mirana picking up the clear ward at bottom, and them just going for top, potentially catching a first blood and maybe snagging both runes. We'll have to see.
The battle begins.
Mirana will back away from bottom, and they are going to be running FN as a mid-morphling with a Shadow Demon kind of backing them up. Presumably the Timbersaw is going to have a little bit of support matched. On the right will probably be bottom. Keeper of the Light can either be mid or top as is needed, but it feels like the pressure is definitely to the advantage of Vega Squadron. Then this switch up in lanes, right? Morphling matched up against a Timbersaw. That feels pretty good because now the Morphling is able to use his maxed out agility to put more pressure on the Timbersaw than the Mirana really would have been able to. And in this bottom lane matchup where the Morphling thanks to his low range, would have felt a lot of pressure from the Sand King in its Caustic Finale. The Mirana's 630 range will be able to keep the distance against Ghostic and keep that damage at bay. And then we've already talked about the fact that the Wisp and Axe should be able to do pretty well to put pressure on the Slark, especially since there's no pesky Omni-Knight in their lane either. Omni-Knight usually want to be able to run dual lanes. He's an a pretty experience-heavy support that usually wants to be able to take advantage of the power you give him with Repel and such, but seeing his bottom lane isn't a lane that needs to be won necessarily. He's going to go up to top lane, try and help out. Does push FNG out, but an early TP keeps him alive. No heart disables whatsoever from this top lane. Empire have no stuns, so a TP scroll is always going to be handy. If Vega Squadron push a little too far out, get themselves caught, a TP scroll can always guaranteed save their life, as long as they don't get bursted too quickly. So, to summarize, I really like this Vega Squadron laning matchup. I think they've done the best they could to be able to switch up these lanes. FN shouldn't have too much of a problem. He's going to be able to get a good amount of farm in this lane as long as he doesn't mess up his last hits. His maxed out agility. Timbersaw is not too much of a threat. It's only until he has Chakram and then has that big burst damage that he may get caught when he's maxed out agility, but again, kind of unlikely. Should always be wary of the Timbersaw's burst for the most part. A little bit surprised FNG actually goes bottom lane and Mag is now jungling. I felt like this was a bit unnecessary. They could have just kept up the pace at top lane, but gonna help out FN a little bit, and Max is certainly no stranger to the jungle. He farms very efficiently in the jungle, especially once he has that Iron Talon, which looks like he's trying to pick up right now. If somebody stops using the goddamn courier. Good. And another pause. If we needed one more. Shadow Demon's now rotated to the bottom lane. Anywhere the Shadow Demon, if he ever comes bottom lane, it could be a free kill with the disruption into Arrow. So it's kind of like Empire are struggling to be able to find a hold because there's so many options for Vega Squadron with their laning phase matchup. They can have Axe go ahead and jungle, and they can have Wisp in the mid lane. They can have Axe dual lane, putting pressure on top. But if there's pressure on top and Omni-Knight has to be top, then Shadow Demon goes bottom. Goes for the Sand King. If he gets the disruption into the air, wham bam, gets a kill. There's so many ways that Empire have to be able to respond in movement kind of perfectly. And that's going to be tough. Especially since Meepo is even trying to soak up some experience. FNG says, caught you on that one. Not going to be able to soak the experience of the stack. He's going to push the Omni-Knight back before Axe goes and clears through it. And encountering all of Empire's moves right now. Fortunately, this ward does seem to be doing a good amount of work, though. Sioma Slayer keeps on trying to catch Ghostic in that bottom lane. Has been unable to do so twice now. Thanks in large part to that one ward. Omni-Knight comes back in, trying to steal the stack. Mag already reading it. Again, thanks to this river ward. They know Meepo is on the way. Then G pushes him back, and Mag will attempt to clear the stack, though a little bit low. Our CS 22 and 8, Timbersaw 16 and 0. Not too bad all around. Disruption on the Omni-Knight. They might be able to catch him here. He doesn't have a repel, so won't be able to stop down these slows, nor will he stop the Shadow Demon poison. He knows he's dead. He's just hoping for the Roshan kill, but that shouldn't happen. Pops the release on the poison at the right time. And Sioma Slayer is the one to pick up the first blood. Axe getting a little low there. No disruption available for our Shadow Demon. So Sand King will also survive. So mid's going well. CS matchup, pretty good for FN. He's gonna be damn happy. Aloha Dance is free farming in the top lane, but who cares? Axe is able to jungle just as proficiently as actually laning. He's gonna be having 5x5 quite easily. He's got Tranquil Boots and Iron Talon, so he'll go ahead and go up to the top lane once again. He's got that level 5. Can really do some damage on Aloha Dance if they try and challenge. They're going to try and get some damage out on him. Still has the call. Should be able to survive through this unless they go and dive in deep with the Dark Pact. But he doesn't have the distance. So, going to be forced to back away. Axe, meanwhile, has his Tranquil Boots and some Tangos. He'll be back in lane, sure enough. He'll probably clean through an off-lane stack. and go back to lane with his Tranquil Boots eventually. And then our bottom lane, not much that Sand King can really do. Is 18-2 compared to the Iceberg's 34-11. Big CS lead for him. Part of it, just the nature of Sand King not being able to put pressure with Caustic Finale. Caustic Finale does make things a little bit annoying to last hit in the first couple levels. But also the fact that the Shadow Demon, every single time he rotates bottom, Sand King has to completely get out of lane. So, since Shadow Demon's been parking his butt here in the bottom lane for the last few minutes, Sand King has actually gone jungle, Iron Talon, and high levels Caustic Finale. Sand King is actually really good at jungling. He has the Iron Talon. The Caustic Finale allows him to juggle creeps really well and gives him this nice burst potential as well to clear through camps. Disruption. I'm not sure what they're planning on making of this one. Maybe they can actually do this one. Diving in deep. A couple more right clicks. They should be able to finish him off with the extra bit of amplified damage, but it's not enough. An arrow, though, nails him from the side. Iceberg on the mark. Shion the Slayer looks like he's going to die. Caustic Finale slows him down. Ghost Stick picks up double there. The supports will fall to him. In exchange for the Timber Saw, though, the kills alone, you could say it's kind of worth it, but the fact that Vega Squadron rotated 4 heroes into the mid lane to be able to pick up that 1 kill makes it not worth it. You could feel okay trading 2 supports for a Timber Saw, but the fact that you required 4 heroes to do it and still lost 2 supports for the Timber Saw, that doesn't feel good anymore. Meanwhile, Miposhka's kind of taken over somewhat of the offlane role. At least he's got Repel to potentially defend himself. Still, though, if he actually gets caught by Disruption straight into the arrow, nothing he'll be able to do about that. That double support kill really going to help Ghost Stick keep pace with the Axe, who's currently 40-0. A little bit unfair, considering that's neutrals. 2,500 net worth right now compared to 2,600 of the Sand King, thanks to that double kill. So he's actually 1 step ahead of the Axe for now. Mag going to rotate around behind our mid. G may be caught by an unexpected Axe rotation. They should be able to bring 4 heroes to the fore, and first G down. No chance for a Timber Chain away this time around. King R. Not sure. I thought King R actually spotted the Axe in that river area. Maybe they didn't expect that rotation behind mid like that. But Axe, as soon as he has Tranquil Boots, he's actually a great ganking hero. He just gets himself in position because he's always off map. He's always farming jungle. You're never actually sure when to expect an Axe gank. And he just wraps around behind mid, or in this case, behind the safe lane tower. Don't think there's anything they could do to possibly kill Aloha Dance. They catch him with the wave. They'd have to get really lucky on spins, and they're going to try. And it's not even close. Ghost Stick is going to be the one to try and counter the Axe's aggression. Remember, like, we talked about how the Mag, his Axe, he's going to be the one kind of determining the tempo of this game. He's going to be the one who buys Vega Squadron a hefty lead going into the mid-game. His rotations, his timings. Well, the counter there is Ghost Stick and his rotations, and it looks like he might have just gotten a kill on the Axe. Nicely played by Ghost Stick, taking the time away from the Axe and starts targeting the creeps just to be able to get the Caustic Finale pops. Obviously, if you can actually get them to explode, does way more than any right-click possibly would. And gets them a rather easy kill. This will slow down the Vanguard and Blink Dagger progression of the Axe, and speeds up our little Sand King quite a bit. He's already sitting at 800 gold. Iceberg will be making his way towards the Aghanim Scepter, already halfway there, but it looks like he may see a bit of a bump in the road. This smoke wrap around behind, catching Iceberg. No, he's just going to catch FNG. Yeah, Ghost Stick He'll take that one kill and look for more. The Iceberg, already having used the jump away, will dodge some of the chakram damage, but now he's hit by the caustic finale, will be slowed down eventually. He's just trying to buy himself time, I think. Because there's really no way you can juke that one out, that's for sure. This time it's Empire's turn. Bring 4 heroes to the fore. And they'll take that one kill. Mag trying to sneak in a little farm. Aloha Dance pushes them back. Mag at 1,500 gold. So straight Blink Dagger for Mag. Probably the best bet against a Timbersaw you want to put pressure on early, as well as the Slark. Don't think there's too much to be said about the Vanguard first here. This definitely feels like a game where you need to be able to have the Blink Dagger progression first in the game, and worry about survivability later.
Vanish.
Omni-Knight's still getting an okay amount of farm as this pseudo offlaner. He's picked up Arcane Boots and is grinding away, getting the occasional CS that he can at bottom lane. Moonlight Shadow. They're trying to stay off map here in mid lane, not trying to show away the Moonlight Shadow, but I believe this ward did catch the use of Moonlight Shadow and alerted them to stay back at the top lane, where Aloha Dance was able to dodge the attempt gank by the Axe. They haven't been able to shut down Aloha Dance. Quite the contrary, he's already picked up 1 kill and is going to be looking for more. Has a Shadow Blade. Target El Numero Uno. Probably going to be that Mirana. Such an easy kill for the Slark to be able to get. Obviously, you would love to be able to have a Morphling, but that's not something Aloha Dance could do solo. You could do it as a team, that'd be sweet, but gonna require the Ghost Stick. That's what his Blink Dagger is going to be all about. Seeing if he can actually, if he can't kill the Morphling would be preferred. We'll see if they get someone else instead. Seems like with the Slark gone and how much pressure they're putting in the top lane, Slark, they seem to know about his timing of the Shadow Blade here. And they'll dodge most of this gank. Iceberg almost getting latched by that bounce. That was a little bit on the edge there. Sealman Slayer will be caught instead. Ghost Stick reveals his Blink Dagger. And they do barely manage to get the kill ahead of those Ancients. They're going to look for more here. Iceberg playing kind of a dangerous game. Sticking around like this. Will be hit by this epicenter, ready to go. And they'll be able to slow down Iceberg enough. He's got to leap away in just a second. But Aloha Dance has a pounce as well. Unable to get the leap out. And Vega Squadron now going to be feeling pressure. Sand King actually managed to pick up his TP, go straight for FN. Be able to lock him down. FNG will make his escape on the TP. And it looks like Mag, gets a little extra on that one. Picks up a kill, relocate in, and they're going to be able to find Miposhka. He doesn't actually have a repel, so he's going to be caught, especially by a call. Even if it misses, don't matter. Aloha Dance, he's spotted by the counter ward, chooses not to go for that support. The rest of his team is coming in. They can blink in, go for Mag. Mag, not the best of targets, but when you've got the magic damage to be able to burst him down, still makes it worse. Yoma the Slayer has the Moonlight Shadow to help him out, but again, the AoE burst damage is enough. Enough for the Axe, certainly enough for the Shadow Demon. So Empire striking back pretty damn hard here with the Blink Dagger as well as the Shadow Blade pickup. They, despite Vega Squadron seemingly having read some of those timings, they still got him. That was so close on the timing there of the Dark Pact as well as the arrow landing. That was the last couple of ticks of Dark Pact as that arrow landed. But still managed to get him with the Starstorm, and that's going to be big. Iceberg already feeling a bit of a delay there on his Aghanim Scepter. Killing the Slark picks him right back up, almost getting a kill on Ghost Dig as well. He blinks away just in case. How's G doing? A big Timbersaw, man. He is only sitting at 5k. So not the greatest progression. Won't have the fastest of Bloodstones right now. Our Morphling is neck and neck in net worth with the Slark. FN. Not many ways that Empire can really kill him. It's pretty much left to Mana Leak or burst damage from the Sand King during that Burrow Strike and Epicenter stun. Kind of their only two options. So Morphling is going to have a high level of farm almost no matter what. He got a matchup that allowed him to be able to get easy CS, no pressure in lane, really. And now he's going into a mid game where he's not really going to be threatened too much, especially once he picks up the Linken's. Burrow Strike is blocked by Linken's. Don't ask me why. Even if you target the ground, it just does. So, you know, there's that. So there goes their only hard lockdown. Take it away once he has that Linken's. And then they're just left with, like, what, mana leaking afterwards? It's not hard lockdown. That just takes away some of his, some of the mana that is essential for a Morphling, but he'll still be able to work around it. So Empire, they haven't killed the Morphling yet. That's got to be weighing on their conscience a bit, you know? Think of yourself, yeah, we're doing okay. We're getting these kills, some early kills on the Slark. That feels good. But, what about after that? What have you done for me lately? Slark, gonna find the mag? Not gonna go for him, though. They're gonna take this bottom tower. Looks like the rotation could be there. I guess Iceberg could probably TP bottom. They have the relocate ready to go if they really want to go for it. This safe lane is tower alive. Feels unnecessary, though. At this point in time, Vega Squadron are probably just fighting for farm for FN and not trying to get greedy and look for engagements. Again, as soon as they get this Linken's, the game opens up a lot more for the Morphling. And maybe they can be a little bit more active on the Morphling as well. Mag is trying to finish up his Blade Mail as well. He's almost there, too. Another 1,000 gold. And he will have it in the bag.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But Aloha Dance is progressing really well in that word, too.
Shadows.
My biggest concern, Empire, I would be fantastic. You know, I would be like, oh man, they're doing great, all that sort of thing. If they just had a little bit better progression on their Timbersaw, all 3 cores would be pretty farmed up. They wouldn't have to worry so much about the Morphling. I think Empire just going to reach this really good stage around 30 minutes where they're just, all 3 cores are tanky enough or maneuverable enough in the case of Ghost Stick that they don't have to worry about Morphling taking them down a notch. And then they've got the Omni Knight to back them up, and they're just going to be big and tanky, and they'll just be able to survive through any initial burst that is attempted by Vega Squadron. And then you just got a core advantage from there with Slark and Timbersaw up against a Morphling. I don't know. When is Vega Squadron's real good timing going to hit? Well, Mirana's about to hit a serious peak when she gets that Blink Dagger. You could always go for more. I don't know. Maybe Vega Squadron can get aggressive if they have Linken's on the Morphling. They can actually bring the Morphling to fights.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They just need this Blade Mail on Mag. That really helps. Especially if the Slark, if he's quick enough on the Dark Pact. Still blink in. Get the call out. Pops Dark Pact, he's just doing damage back to himself over the Blade Mail. Even if he does manage to get the ultimate off as well beforehand, he just like preemptively, even if he's full HP, just uses it just to make sure he can't be targeted down during that Berserker's call. You're still holding him in place and using a serious ultimate. You won't feel comfortable continuing to be aggressive after that point when he doesn't have that ultimate to fall back on. There's the Linken's. Vega Squadron currently sitting 5 up at the top lane. Empire sweep through as a 5-man crew. Both teams know how important team fights are right now. This one team fight alone will determine who really takes the tempo of this next game, whether it's going to be Empire pressuring tier 2s or Vega Squadron will keep up the split push game. And that's why neither team is splitting up right now, but Empire will rout Vega Squadron, or maybe it's going to be Mag who gets the initiation first on a Ghost Stick. An arrow will nail Ghost Stick, and they've managed to take off the initiator first, and Mag is still alive. Aloha Dance looking to finish him off, but his disruption well timed will dodge most of that damage. Chalkum cleans them up, but still Empire 4 for 4 keep on trucking through. Chasing the supports as best they can. FN is focusing down whatever heroes he can, but the Omni Knight negates most of that damage. Another big blast comes in from King R. Iceberg deal with Aloha Dance. He actually get the kill. Oh, bounced away, and unbelievably he gets away with just a glimmer of HP. That'll be Empire losing 3. And Vega Squadron only dropped Mag there. Should have dropped that Priest of the Moon too. Mirana just barely survives, but it's Vega Squadron caught on top, and that's all thanks to the quick reactions there of the axe.
Dire structures are fortified.
They have the suitable wards in place. He managed to get the initiation on a ghost stick rather than Slark initiating on him. And that changes everything. With the arrow nailing the Sand King, they get an early numbers advantage and just kind of rolls from there. Certain heroes like the Muerta being able to survive through that engagement for so long just meant there was so much nuke damage coming out. The Morphling, he did some work, yeah, but a lot of it was negated. His physical damage couldn't really threaten too many heroes with the Guardian Angel. The fact that that fight went on for a good 10 seconds, it probably meant 2 different rounds of Starstorm went off the passive. Slark, not really one to slow down. They didn't even use the Epicenter. All they used was Guardian Angel, so they still have most of their big offensive abilities. No reason to really slow this game down. They're going to try and go on FN here, see if they can pop him with Mana Lake pushback, see if they can actually drain him of all his mana and stun him, but it doesn't actually happen. He managed to get the jump away, and Empire kind of left sitting here with the dick in their hands. Not really much to do. Bottom lane isn't pushed out. Quite the contrary, it's already into the tier 1 tower. They've just put some pressure on Morphling, taking away some of his mana and HP, but they can't actually turn that into anything. At least not very quickly. May be able to take the tier 2 eventually, but Vega Squadron, they're just going to sweep as a 4-man, 5-man crew all the way up to the top lane. They can go ahead and trade tier 2s. Perfectly happy with that one. They're just trying to buy more time for the Morphling to get his farm. And Empire, not really farming the most efficiently. They have better control of the map, yes, but they're also trying so desperately to find team fights that they're 5-manning across the map, and as a result, their cores are not out farming, and nor should they. I mean, it's gonna always be hard to out farm Muerta, Morphling, 2 big split pushers that kind of drive you across the map. Even if Empire feel like they have more control and the creeps are always pushing in and they've got, always 2 lanes pushed into the enemy side, they're controlling the jungle. It just doesn't really work that way just because of the efficiency of the Muerta and how quick she's able to use that Aghanim Scepter to farm through, farm down camps, burst them down, get through neutral camps. It looks like Vega Squadron, I mean, the tier 2 was already at like 300 HP, so they take that tier 2 first, and they're going to be the ones pushing high ground here, forcing Empire back to defend. With that Fen on full agility, they do a good chunk of damage to that tier 3 tower before Empire are able to respond.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
8-10 now, 23 minutes in, a slight net worth lead and experience for Vega Squadron, but not major on either side. More important is that Vega Squadron seem to be the ones keeping ahead of Empire. Empire's still struggling to find those team fights, moving around the map, looking for those pickoffs. Again, you look at this Morphling, it's a dead lane pretty much. How can they kill him? How can they possibly kill him when he's got a Linken's? If he has a replicate up, it's a guaranteed kill that just will not happen. So they've got to find the initiation elsewhere. They find Seom the Slayer. Nuke goes down, misses the pounce. Looks like he was looking for the Muerta. Disrupt goes down. It looks like King R, he's going to be need to save. The chop goes down. Even with the Guardian Angel, they eat right through him. Coming out from Morphling now. Nice call from Mag with the flame all over the top of 4-man call, and disaster strikes Empire. They drop all 5. Shadow Demon is the only one to go down, and Vega Squadron, there's gold primed for the taking here, and they will have it. They'll push down mid, they'll take this tier 1, they may even be able to take the tier 2 in the process, and that will be most likely an Ethereal Blade for FN and Empire. Game just got real hard for them. It was already drifting against them bit by bit. That last team fight at top lane was bad enough, but this one, dominating lead now for Vega Squadron as Mag opens the whole game up for them with that one initiation.
The prize is mine.
Iceberg with 3,200 gold in the bank. You've got a Morphling. Same exact story there, and then Mag, oh Mag. captain, man. That was so good. He's got a straight up BKB. Like, Timbersaw ain't no thing. Not gotta worry about it. So diffuse a blade now for the Mirana. This is something that we actually didn't see. We did not see Virtus Pro do that. Despite having a Mirana with plenty of farm, they just made a more regular Mirana builds. This time around, on Vega Squadron, Iceberg will go for the diffuse blade against the Omni Knight. Honestly, it makes too much sense. Nothing like a Morphling Axe Replicate. Just speed up the farm of FN that much more. We didn't really talk about that little interaction, but it is a real obnoxious one. Call goes down. Mag, this time, a clean whiff. Hey, you win some, you lose some. Looks like they're still going to be able to get the kill on the G. Mag in some trouble, but gets the chop first before the chain goes through. And now King R in some serious trouble. He'll be bursted down by the magic damage. Empire scrambling to get in front of this tier 3 power push. They're going to have Ghostic going big. They managed to get the jump in. Hits 2 with a burrow strike. Almost finished off FNG, but it's just not quite enough. And there's no follow-up from Empire. They're only just now coming out of the pit, but Ghostic's already dead. They did manage to get the wisp eventually, looks like, but still. Aloha Dance, caught by the arrow. Tries to jump himself away. Starstorm and a Ethereal Blade finished him off. Vega Squadron. They just start hitting on him. All centers at the point. Empire, they're going to drop this game one almost for sure. I cannot see them come back from that one. Arrow nails them with it. There's a blade. G. Oh, he's just giving up on life. Maposhka can't do anything to save him. Not with that kind of initiation. And there it is. Empire, call it Vega Squadron. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. God damn, I don't know if I've ever seen a team turn up in just like 3 minutes like that. They literally went